Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Tristan Rallings, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Colonel Frank Colley. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families who love and support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association, RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you are able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of the more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths of floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today, we remember and pay tribute to Private William Oliphant. William Oliphant was born on the 15th of May 1890 near Port Melbourne in Victoria. Little is known of his life before he enlisted, except that he worked as a labourer and lived in Richmond South in Melbourne. On enlistment, he stated that his father was no longer living and gave his mother, Mrs. Annie Tate, as his next of kin. Oliphant enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 16th of December 1915. In March 1916, he sailed from Melbourne for overseas service as part of the 10th Reinforcements of the 24th Infantry Battalion. After a brief period of training in England, he transferred to France and the war on the Western Front, where he joined his unit, the 24th Battalion, for the first time at the front in late August. Oliphant and the 24th Battalion spent the next month training and resting behind the front lines. In early November, they moved to the lines near Méault, north of the Somme River, near Albert, and days later began serving a support role in the trenches south of Fleur. Oliphant, who was in D Company, spent his time serving in ration parties and provided supplies to the troops of the Australian 7th Brigade while they were in the front lines. His time serving in the front lines was, however, only brief. On the 6th of November, Oliphant was hospitalised with bronchitis, an illness that kept him from duty for over a month. He did not rejoin his unit until the 21st of December 1916, when it endured the hardships of a cold, wet winter thaw near Fricourt. On the 24th of December 1916, Oliphant was serving in the 24th Battalion Fatigue Party behind the lines north of the River Somme when a shrapnel shell exploded overhead, severely wounding him in the groin. His mates did their best to bind his wounds, and he was taken to a nearby casualty clearing station, reported to be in good spirits, but suffering from blood loss. The following day, Christmas Day 1916, he died of his wounds. He was 25 years old. He is buried at the Hailly Station Cemetery in France, where 2,890 Commonwealth servicemen of the Great War are commemorated. Private William Oliphant's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right, amongst almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private William Oliphant, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please stand for the reading of the Ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. We thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial and wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.